Hello, everyone. Turns here. How are you? I am here today presenting two different ways to control the daytime. Okay, there's two different ways you can do it. Well, there's probably more. These are the two ways that I would do it through command blocks. So let me show you the first way. So I'm going to turn these both off just so we can kind of get an idea of how long it takes the sun to move. Okay, so what we'll do is let me position my cursor right here. We'll go right about here, and we're going to see how long it takes the sun, the little yellow, the outside part, to get through it. Okay, ready? Da 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 da. I'm going to have to add in a little fancy counter after the fact. Okay, so there we go. Now let's do this. Let's put this on and see how long it takes to get through the cursor. If I move it back to the same spot and let's reset it again, it kind of already was in it, but now you can kind of see it chunking along. Okay, let me show you what we're doing for this method. To create the scoreboard, you have to do scoreboard, objectives, add tick day dummy. All right, and that will create your scoreboard. It already exists on mine. It'll create a scoreboard on you for the tick day. Then you can do these. So this one, scoreboard players add CFG tick day 1. So we're adding 1 to tick day, basically every tick, and it's on repeat. Needs redstone because it's using this daylight sensor whenever the sun's out. Because in my example, I only want to change it when the sun's out. Okay. Then it goes into a chained command, which is always active, and says, if score of tick day matches 1, run the game rule, do daylight cycle true. So whenever tick day is at 1, it turns daylight cycle on. Okay. The next chain, which is the same settings as the one before, says if the score of tick day matches 10, turn it off. Okay, so basically for 9 ticks, the sun moves for 9 ticks, then shuts off. And then you can see if the score of tick day matches 20, run scoreboard players config set tick day 0. So basically for 9 ticks, we're running the sun and then we're stopping it for like 10 or 11 ticks. And then it starts over again because it resets back to 0. So then this, when it catches it again, when it turns to 1, turns the sun back on and it runs it for another 9 ticks. You can turn off the sun and turn it on more or less, right? Like if we wanted the sun to not move as fast, we'd just say we'd extend this time, right? So we're going to leave the sun run for the 9 ticks and then let's extend this. Let's make this 50. So it won't run for 50 ticks. And so you'll be able to see what actually changes. Okay. So I'm going to move the sun back and we run this and you'll see the sun runs for 9 ticks and then it stops, and you can see how much slower it is. Pretty cool. Now it is going to have that jerky motion because you're only moving the sun, you know, for a smaller amount of time, but you can see how much longer it made the day. Now, using the daylight sensor, as soon as the sun's gone away, night is going to go at the same speed as it always does. The other way, which I don't like, but it does use less command blocks, we're using a daylight sensor to detect if the sun's up, then that's when we want to run these commands. It's the same, it's using the same scoreboard as before, tick day, and it's underneath this player. Just a generic player that we created. So we're adding 1 to tick day, every tick on repeat. Then in the chain, we're saying if score of tick day matches 5, run time add -4. And what that's doing is for every 5 ticks, we're removing 4 ticks. We're making the sun go back 4 every time it goes 4 or 5. And then on the second one, We just say, hey, if the tick day matches 5, reset it back to 0 and do it again. So we're never turning on and off do daylight cycle with this method. And what that looks like is this. You'll see here how slow this moves, but you can see it's pretty slow. We're moving at about, what is that? 400% slower than before. So, there's two different methods. You can either use command blocks to turn off the daylight cycle and turn it back on, or you can kind of back up time. And that's all I've got for you today. You guys have a good one. We'll see you soon. Thanks. Bye.